All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. A now deleted post by Black Lives Matter Chicago caught the attention of many, including the National Legal and Policy Center. Peter Flaherty is the chair. He sent a letter to Visa demanding it revoke its BLM endorsement. Now, this is the post of a hang glider with a Palestinian flag captioned, "I stand with Palestine." Hang gliders were used in the attack against Israel. BLM later apologized and removed that, but Peter Flaherty still wants Visa to revoke their endorsement. He joins us now from Falls Church, Virginia. Peter, glad to have you here. So I'm curious, this is not just related to the BLM Chicago post. You have criticized other corporations for their support of Black Lives Matter. Why?
Well, that's correct. And of course, the paraglider post was taken down, but that was after 30 million people saw it. Roland, this isn't just something we cooked up in the wake of October 7th. We have a long history of being critical of Black Lives Matter. We exposed the fact that Patrisse Cullors owned 4 pieces of real estate and was enriching her family with all these inside deals. And of course, she had to resign from the movement. When it comes to Visa, Inc., we were at the annual meeting earlier this year. We had a number of items we raised, and one of them was Visa's endorsement of Black Lives Matter. So we've been critical of this before, during, and after October 7th.
Question, why? You talked about, first of all, Patrisse Cullors. You talked about what she was involved with. First of all, she also publicly talked about money that she as an individual has earned as opposed to the entity. There was an audit that was actually done after she actually left. And so when you say that she was commingling, things along those lines, they actually talked about that. But again, why specifically do you have a problem with Black Lives Matter, the movement?
Well, just before we leave Patrisse Cullors, we filed a complaint with the IRS against the organization, and we did not allege that Ms. Cullors misappropriated funds. We alleged that there were inside deals, like paying her brother over $100,000 for security services, which violated IRS regulations regarding inside dealing. But to cut to the chase on BLM, we believe that big companies like Visa and Coca-Cola should not get involved in controversial public policy issues because they have customers and shareholders and employees on both sides. And when you look at Black Lives Matter, their number one public policy priority was defunding the police, and everybody's run away from that, and big companies have run away from that. It seems like, they tried it and it didn't work in a lot of places. But Visa hangs in there. This endorsement of BLM stays on their website, and we've asked the chairman of Visa, Al Kelly, who wrote it, to take it down.
I'm curious. You said that you disagree with companies like Coca-Cola and others, Visa, supporting Black Lives Matter because of public policy positions. Can you show me where you, as an organization, opposed corporations involving Alec?
Alec?
Yes.
We've been critical of companies dumping money into either side of these controversial issues.
Have you called for corporations that are members of Alec to resign from Alec?
No, but we've been critical of corporations that fund Alec for sure on a variety of issues.
What companies?
Well, Big Pharma. Big Pharma sponsored Alec's big dinner.
Who else?
What?
Who else?
Well, Bud Light was there too.
Who else?
Well, I've just named 2, Roland.
Right. Have you been critical of Coke Industries for their involvement in Alec?
No, but
why? Why? They've been a funder of Alec. See, if you're going to be critical of these companies, because you said yourself, because of public policy, well, is Alec not directly involved in public policy across the country?
Well, you asked me to name some, and I named 2.
Right. You named 2, but you did not name the conservative Coke Industries that funds Alec.
Well, when it comes to the Koch brothers, it's kind of ironic, Roland, because we've been accused for years and years of being funded by Coca. We've never taken a penny from
No,
them.
first of all, I haven't accused you of that. But again, here's the point I'm making. You have publicly released a letter. You talked about the head of Visa for them to pull back. But you said you've been critical. You said Big Pharma, have you released any letters to Big Pharma, Pfizer, any of those companies demanding that they resign from Alec?
No, not specifically.
But you specifically done it for Black Lives Matter and Visa, but you won't do it for these companies with Alec. But you say you were critical that these companies shouldn't be involved in public policy, but they're involved in public policy with Alec. Isn't that the same?
Well, I'll say it again. We believe that big companies should stay out of these issues, and the more controversial, the more reason to stay out.
But Peter, I'm very clear though. I received an email from you regarding Visa and Black Lives Matter, and it details what you've done. The demands that you are making of Visa regarding Black Lives Matter are not the same demands that you have made of corporations involved in Alec, and I wonder why.
Well, I don't think there's a moral equivalency between Black Lives Matter and Alec. Alec's kind of boring, really.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Alec has been responsible for the stand your ground laws across the country. Alec has been involved with significant public policy all across the country, largely conservative. What you just said is simply not true.
Roland, I'm not responsible for every public policy debate. That's exactly our point, that these things are so far-flung and so controversial that companies should stay out of them.
But the point that I'm making to you is, why are you targeting Visa specifically with Black Lives Matter, but you're not giving the same energy to companies that fund Alec? And actually, Alec has been far more detrimental and involved in public policy than Black Lives Matter.
You can criticize Alec all you want, but you can't call him racist. You can't call him terrorist. You can't call him a bunch of extremists. It's a bunch of Republican state legislatures who get around from around the country who get together and have dinner.
No, they don't. Peter, there are examples of Alec written language. Peter, 1 second. There are examples of Alec written language copy and pasted into laws that were actually put into motion by Republican legislators. They're not just having dinners.
Well,
go ahead.
They propose model legislation, and in some places it gets passed. Look, when it comes to Black Lives Matter in Visa, which I thought that's what the interview was about, if we can't agree on Black Lives Matter, maybe we can agree that hypocrisy is bad. The chairman of Visa is named Al Kelly. He holds himself out as a big Catholic. He chaired the committee that welcomed the Pope to New York City. He's on the board of several Catholic charities. But in this statement that he put out endorsing Black Lives Matter, he also referred to Latin people as Latinx. Of course, that's a woke term that Hispanics themselves don't use. And the reason you get the X at the end, it's a way to degenderize the Spanish language. That'd
be correct. First of all, let me correct you. Let me correct you. That phrase, that term was created because typically we refer to as Latino, and then of course women are referred to as Latina, and so that phrase was used to represent men and women. Now, you are correct. One second, Peter. You are correct. Peter, hold on. You are correct, because I've had Latino posters on talking about in terms of who doesn't use that, and a significant number of Latino/Hispanics do not use it, but that's actually where it came from. So, but go right ahead.
Okay, and actually the term Hispanic was invented by Richard Nixon.
I'm not talking about Hispanic. I'm talking about Latinx.
Hispanics, they thought of themselves as Ecuadorians and Mexicans and whatever.
First of all, I'm a native of Texas, so I'm quite familiar with how, and that's why I say Latino/Hispanic, because depending on where you are in the country, there are different usages. There are people who are Venezuelan and Cuban in South Florida who don't say the same, who don't identify with Hispanic as those who come from Mexico in Texas. You got Chicanos who are in Chicago. You got folks who are Dominican and Puerto Rican who are in New York, and they may differ than the language used for folks in California. And so that's one of the reasons why I said Latino/Hispanic. But I want to go back to it because you talked about the CEO being Catholic. What does that have to do with anything? We've got conservative Catholics on the Supreme Court. And?
Well, I think it underscores his hypocrisy. He should decide which side he's on.
How so?
If he's going to be a Catholic and hold himself out as a big Catholic or wear it on his sleeve, he should at least reinforce the teachings of the Catholic Church. In the state, in this endorsing Black Lives Matter, he talks about Latinx, which is directly contrary to the teachings of the Church.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting that you actually said that. But one second. That's interesting that you actually said that, because go to my iPad. Pope Francis expressed support for George Floyd protests. That's the biggest Catholic you can find. Second of all, when you talked about the teaching of the Catholic Church, I also recall the Catholic Church historically is ardently anti-abortion, but they're also against the death penalty. And it's a whole bunch of people who agree with them on abortion, but they don't stand with them when it comes to the death penalty. So how can you try to demand a hard and fast rule for Catholics when even they disagree on that issue?
Well, Al Kelly shouldn't hold himself out as this big Catholic then.
Why not? Why not? Why does his religion have anything to do with it when he has
Catholic something?
No. But wait a minute. But you don't. But you don't get to. You don't get. First of all, what's your faith? What's your faith? What's your faith?
I'm a Roman Catholic.
You're a Roman Catholic.
Yes, sir.
Are you against the death penalty?
I am not.
Oh, you're not. So guess what?
No.
Guess what? You're not a Catholic then.
No, but I don't go on Eternal Word TV. And
No, Peter, are you are you a strong Catholic or a weak Catholic?
I consider myself a strong Catholic.
So if you're a strong Catholic, why are you not strongly against the death penalty when the Catholic Church is strongly against the death penalty? And Peter, just so you know, I was born and raised Catholic. The Catholic Church that I grew up in was founded in my grandparents' living room. And so I'm multi-generational Catholic. So why are you, if you want to hold the chairman of Visa to a Catholic standard, why do you not hold yourself to the same one?
Look, because he's out there claiming that he's this big Catholic.
So are you?
I do not. I only said that.
So you're not a big Catholic. You're a small Catholic.
Question about the death penalty. There are certain things as a mere human I don't understand that I can't reconcile. That's why I submit them to prayer.
But Peter, does the Pope lead the Catholic Church?
Yes.
Are you supposed to follow the directives of the Catholic Church, Catholic leadership?
Yes.
So if the Catholic Church from the Vatican on down is anti-death penalty, well, aren't you being in violation of your Catholicism by not being anti-death penalty?
Well, I just said I was, and we're not here to talk about.
So why are you mad with the chairman of Visa because he might disagree with you when you disagree with the Pope?
Because I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a public Catholic.
You are public.
Out as a Catholic spokesman.
Do you lead a public organization?
I'm sorry?
Do you lead a public organization?
Yes, we have.
Do you lead a nonprofit?
I'm sorry?
Are you a nonprofit?
Yes.
Is your organization involved in numerous lawsuits?
Yes.
Is your organization, do you make public statements?
Yes.
You are a public Catholic.
Am I on trial?
No. I'm actually showing you your own hypocrisy because you're criticizing Visa chairman for something that you do, and you're mad at him when you yourself are not the ardent, strong Catholic that you want him to be.
Okay, well, look, I at least come on your show and admit to this hypocrisy. Al Kelly has not. Look, it gets much
no,
worse.
it's okay. I'll be happy to invite the chairman of Visa on the show, but go ahead. Go ahead, make your point. Go ahead.
To drag his sorry ass onto your show.
I would love to have him on the show, and we could talk about Visa's advertising with black-owned media, but go ahead.
And he's now only chairman of Visa, but he used to be CEO and chairman.
Okay.
And while he was CEO, Visa was handling the credit card transactions for some of the biggest porn sites in the world, including kiddie porn sites.
But what does that have? Well, first of all, I'll be honest with you, Peter. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there because it's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch of cable companies that made lots of money with porn in hotel rooms. So let's just be honest. It's a lot of Americans, conservative and liberal, make money with porn.
Well, I was leading up to a point, and the point was evidence submitted to the court showed that Alec Kelly was aware of this.
What does that have to do with Black Lives Matter?
We can have a philosophical argument about the death penalty.
But what does that have to do with Black Lives Matter? You want them to pull support of Black Lives Matter.
Face of them, like knowingly profiting from porn, that I think a public Catholic like Alec Kelly has an added burden to face the accusations that I'm making now of hypocrisy. Why didn't you get him on the show?
I'm utterly confused how you are talking about the chairman of Visa and Catholicism and porn, and your problem is Black Lives Matter, and you still have not actually answered my question. No, Peter, I'm gonna let you in. What is your Peter? What is your fundamental problem with Black Lives Matter in 2023?
You got to be careful because there's more than one Black Lives Matter.
Oh, no. First of all, I'm fully aware because I've had all of them on the show. I understand the difference between Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Black Lives Matter Network. I understand that because I've actually interviewed all of them.
Yes, of course. And the Black Lives Matter Grassroots people have taken great interest in what we have done in exposing the corruption within the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. But let's look at Black Lives Matter, what happened in the wake of October 7th. You had the Chicago paragliding post that you've already put up there. The national BLM Grassroots organization put out a statement of solidarity with Palestine. Are you saying they can't do that? No, but I can be critical of it.
Okay, no. I'm just saying that them putting that statement out, is that illegal?
No, it's certainly ill-advised. And let me
ask you a question. Let me ask Peter. Peter, I'm asking Peter, simple question. Peter, simple question. If Black Lives Matter Grassroots had put out a statement in support of Israel, would you have a problem with that?
No.
So the real issue is not that they put a statement out. The problem is you don't like them standing with Palestinians, but you would have no problem with them if they were supporting Israel. Okay, go ahead with your statement. Go ahead.
Correct. And Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation did not put out anything on what happened on October.
Because they're two separate groups. They're two separate groups.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to lay that out, to be fair, okay?
No, my audience already knows because I've already laid it out. I've laid it out for the last 2 years, but go ahead.
You know these people. Most people in the conservative movement don't know these people.
Well, first of all, most conservative people don't know a lot of black people, so it's no surprise they don't know anything about Black Lives Matter.
Roland, you're looking at me like I'm some kind of white guy.
No, I'm not.
Right?
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying, Peter, is here's what I'm saying. You're targeting Peter. You're targeting Visa, but I still need to know. Okay, they released a statement. Peter.
So much to defend myself.
Peter. It's all good. They released a statement supporting Palestinians. What else?
That's enough, isn't it?
No, wait a minute. That's it. Hold up, that's it.
But what happened on October 7th?
Hold up, that's it? That's it?
You think that reaction was a little unusual or condemnable?
I'm sorry. So you're telling me that you're making this big brouhaha because Black Lives Matter Grassroots released a statement saying they were standing with Palestinians, and you think that's why Visa should not be involved with them whatsoever. That's it?
Correct. It's enough.
No, it's not. That's pretty weak, Peter. I mean, it's pretty weak.
Well, I'll tell you what's weak. I think your personal attacks on me are pretty weak. And I
No,
want to tell you,
Peter, wait a minute, Peter. You attack Peter.
he had 8 kids, right? But he also had hundreds of black kids. My dad was a basketball coach at public schools, at inner city schools in Massachusetts for 30 years. The Catholic schools grabbed all the good players. He was left with the rest. They were runners-up in the state twice. And when you're a basketball coach's son, what you do on Saturday morning? You go to basketball practice with your dad. And my dad was a goddamn saint. And a lot
Peter,
of these,
now you're mad at the Catholic schools took the best players?
a lot of these guys did not have fathers. My dad kept them in school. My dad was responsible for kids going to college who otherwise wouldn't.
Peter, that has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
No, it does, because you're looking at me like I'm a white guy.
No, I'm not. No, actually, Peter. No, Peter. No, I'm not.
What do you mean?
Peter, woosah. Peter, woosah. You said, Peter, you just said about 60 seconds ago, you said that I was lodging personal attacks against you. Peter, no, actually I didn't.
I didn't react.
Peter,
I tried to answer your question.
Peter, you literally personally attacked the faith of the visa chairman because you disagree with him. And then when I show your own hypocrisy on the death penalty.
I did not attack his faith.
You did! Peter, you literally attacked a man saying you basically said he's not a real Catholic.
No, I didn't say that. I said he was exhibiting hypocrisy for the public stands, which differ from his public allegiance to the church.
And so do you.
No, I don't.
Peter,
look,
if you Peter Flaherty, get to oppose the Catholic Church over the issue of the death penalty, why can't he have a different opinion just like you?
Why can't we talk about Black Lives Matter?
You the one brought up the man being a Catholic, not me. You brought him up. I didn't even know he was a Catholic.
I brought up the fact that he's a hypocrite in the context of his support for Black Lives Matter, period.
Well, here's what I'll say here, Peter. Here's what I'll say here, Peter.
Should I come on this show again, Roland? I've tried to answer your questions. I've tried to be reasonable. You kept interrupting me.
No, Peter. Peter, what I did was
but I'm not sure I should come back.
No, Peter.
What do you think?
Peter, I don't have a problem with you coming back. Here's the whole deal. Here's what I would suggest. I'm just going to give you some professional television advice. Don't bring up the man's Catholicism that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, because what you then did was you then diverted the conversation to something else as opposed to the subject at hand. I didn't bring it up. You did. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Peter.
He's on the Pope's Commission on Inclusive Capitalism.
And guess what?
He's on the Pope of New York City. He's on the board of Boston College. He sits on the board of other Catholic nonprofits. I do none of those things. I admire him for that, but he should not, when he puts out a statement right after George Floyd gets beaten to death and goes with the herd, are
you saying that Visa was wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that Visa was wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
You bet. That's the whole point of me being here.
Oh, Peter, was the Pope wrong for putting a statement out after the death of George Floyd?
The Pope did the right thing and condemned
yes or no?
the death of...
Yes or no?
The Pope didn't endorse Black Lives Matter. And the Pope didn't tell big business to send their money to Patrice Coolers, who promptly bought 2 mansions with it.
Well, what the Pope did do was support the protests against racial injustice in his own book, and the racial injustice protests were led by Black Lives Matter. That's Pope Francis.
Well, not everybody who protested what happened endorsed Black Lives Matter.
No. Let me show, Pete, I'm just going to show you right here. Go to pull it up. Pope book backs George Floyd protests, blasts virus skeptics. That's the Pope. So I'm confused. So you're mad at the Visa dude, but you're not mad at the Pope?
Look, the Pope did not endorse Black Lives Matter. The people who protested Floyd's death is a much broader people than those that support Black Lives Matter. And the people that actually support Black Lives Matter now are a tiny group. The group's been discredited. The public opinion polls that ask about the group's favorability have been going down for the last 2 years, and we like to think we were part of that by exposing the corruption.
No,
but and it's got to be lower than ever now after the the paraglider poster and whatever else.
well, I'll tell you. Matter of fact, I just want to show you this right here. Now, see, here's what's interesting. You said the Pope did not support Black Lives Matter. Interesting. This is from a story right here. Pope Francis called George Floyd by name twice and offered support to an American bishop who knelt in prayer during a Black Lives Matter protest. Cardinals, black and white, have spoken out about Floyd's death, and the Vatican's communications juggernaut has shifted into overdrive to draw attention to the cause that he now represents. Sounded to me like the Pope was standing in solidarity with Black Lives Matter.
Well, are you implying that the Pope supported the paragliding posting?
No, Peter. What I'm saying, Peter.
What are you saying?
Peter, what I'm saying is, sounds like Pope Francis was standing in solidarity in the wake of the George Floyd death with Black Lives Matter protesters, which are being all across the country, that you have a problem with. And so it sounds like the chairman of Visa, when he released that statement, he was in line with the Pope. So it sounded to me like he was a pretty doggone good Catholic.
Well, I think that the Pope has always stood against injustice. He stood about.
Praise the Lord.
He's condemned what happened on October 7th. And I think you're making a mistake, Roland, associating everything that Black Lives Matter does with having the support of the Pope.
Well, but I think you are making a mistake by trying to discredit all of Black Lives Matter movement, because there are people across this country who are good people, who are church-going people, who are Christians, who are Catholics, who are Baptists, who are Methodists, who are out there fighting racial injustice. My first two stories were about police officers and the wrongdoing. And here's what I'm going to say, Peter. You might be upset. In that BLM chapter in Chicago, I thought that post was stupid. I said so as well. But that chapter also is not a part of the actual movement. And there's some people who do some stupid stuff, including some conservative organizations. And all I'm gonna say, Peter, is very simple, and that is, if you're targeting Visa, but I hope you have the same energy for corporations who are in Alec, who are passing laws. So I would love to see you target their chairman.
Well, I don't know about targeting them, but we've certainly been critical. I think
yeah, but you're targeting Visa.
What?
You're targeting Visa.
Look, we're a small outfit. We don't get involved in everything.
Guess what? I looked at your website, and y'all been involved in a lot of stuff, Peter. A lot of stuff y'all been involved in, dealing with Hillary Clinton and Hunter Biden, and so it's not like y'all not involved in a lot of stuff. I'm just saying.
We're pretty busy, but I will say that as I said a few minutes ago, there are folks within the Black Lives Matter movement and so forth who have been in touch with us, who have taken great interest in our expose of what happens with the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. So, we'll talk to anybody, and we often do.
Well, Peter, I would love that. I'll love this here. I would love it. And guess what? If you, Peter Flaherty, decides to be highly critical and target the companies that are standing behind Alec, you're more than welcome to come back on, because we've been critical of Alec as well.
Well, I don't know. Roland, have I been a good sport or not?
No, you've been great. You've been great.
I've never had an interview like this, to tell you the truth.
Well, here's why, Peter. Peter, here's why. Because what I do, I actually do my research, and I'm willing to ask the questions. And maybe some of the other places you've gone, they used to do softballs. I played baseball growing up. I didn't play softball. I played hardball.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, Peter, take care. Appreciate you coming on.